Chlamydia. So first and foremost, let's appreciate this is an atypical bacteria which contains muramic acid. It's an obligate intracellular parasite, which means it can only live inside a cell in a host. And it actually contains approximately 1 million nucleotides. And chlamydia, there's a whole life cycle for chlamydia. And in the initial phase, you get endocytosis of elementary bodies, and in phase 2 you get replication of reticulate bodies. So that's your E for endocytosis of elementary bodies and replication of reticulate bodies. What is this endosized into? Well, it's endosized into ER, as in endoplasmic reticulum. The reticulate bodies undergo fission and replicate into your elementary bodies, which are then released back out. Now, elementary bodies themselves are released back out, as I just said here, they are released back out, extracellular, and these are infectious, for which reason it is that they are then going to undergo endocytosis again, and they'll get cytosed intracellularly, where they become metabolically active to then undergo this whole fission process again. Okay. Now, chlamydia often coexists with gonorrhea, so Neisseria gonorrhea. And the thing here is gonorrhea, what kind of pathogen is it? Well, it's a gram negative, so G and N, and then the two O's, if you put the two O's together, that's your diplococcus. So it's a gram negative diplococcus. Okay, there are different types of chlamydia, looking at the serotypes. The initial, you've got the chlamydia trachomatis, the pneumoniae, and the psittaci. And your serotypes are your AC, as in C. If I C, this is going to give rise to conjunctivitis. I was going to write that in red. So this will give rise to conjunctivitis. Okay. This D to K, yes, the root word of DICK, hence STIs. And your last one, psittaci, serotypes are L1 to 3, so LGV, which is essentially an infection of the lymph nodes in the inguinal region. Okay, don't need to worry too much about this detail over here. That's sufficient to know for where we are. Diagnosis of chlamydia, well, we're going to do NART testing, and if you're going to stain it, we're going to stain with Giemsa stain, and on that we're going to see inclusion bodies. This is really important. So Giemsa stain and its inclusion bodies, presence of inclusion bodies is a positive, and the way we're going to definitively diagnose is by means of NART testing. There is a national chlamydia screening program. This is for females, that should be an M, sexually active, of course, and 18 to 24 years of age. Finally, complications generally in males, and that's to do with the testes, i.e. inflammation of the testes, your orchitis, the epididymis being inflamed, and or your urethritis. You can sometimes get epididymal orchitis, as in inflammation of both of that. Management generally is usual symptom management of pain, etc., but we do need to give some antibiotics, and for the most part we'll give azithromycin as first line and doxycycline as second, but that may well change as per the guidelines. However, this is the most important thing that we need to appreciate for where we are. Thank you.